Hey, I'm Josh from Vacuums R Us and Sewing 2 in Colorado, and today I'm going to show you how to do a cord replacement or a motor replacement in a Sebo D4. This will apply to any of the Sebo D4s. There's numerous different variations of different tool sets and colors, but internally they're all identical. Before we get into here, I do want to note that Sebo D4 is a relatively new machine. There's a relatively good chance that if you have a D4, you still have a warranty. They had 5, and recently they introduced 10-year warranties in the last 3 years. If you get into this machine, you will void your warranty if you're under warranty. So if your machine is under warranty, simply bring it to a service center, drop it off, and be done with it. Don't mess around with this at all, because once you put a screwdriver to it, your warranty is over with. If you are out of warranty, or if you're a technician watching this video, I do want to say, do this at your own risk. Watch the entire video before you attempt this repair. It's cord reel and motor replacement isn't the easiest repair in the world, but it's definitely something that's doable for a lot of people. But if something goes awry, the vacuum becomes sentient and eats your cat, electrocutes you, burns your house down, I'm not liable for any of that. Repair at your own risk. So I'm going to check and see what Torx bit these take. It's a T20, so the screws that hold this together are T20. All right, so we've got 2 screws inside the bucket here, inside the back compartment. There's 1 screw there and 1 screw there. We're going to pop those out real quick. I'm use my magnetic dish so I don't lose any screws. Again, these are a T20 bit. They're a Torx bit. You're going to need a longer bit like what I have here. There's 1 screw that is back here that's behind the bag door, and it's tough to get into. If you have a shorter screwdriver, you're not going to be able to get to it. I'm going to come in kind of at an angle. There are bits that are specifically designed for these angles, but this long bit gives me enough space to get that out, so I'm all right with that. So there's 3 screws so far that we've got out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this outer air belt filter. This right here is why these things are called an air belt. Their exhaust is through this whole thing right here, which has a foam backing we'll get into. There's a clip right here, which will simply just snap right off. And then you have an outer cloth holder, but you want to be careful not to tear it if you're not replacing it today. And there's these plastic ridges right here. This right here is rigid. And that will pop off like that. So this is, we're going to kind of slide this out all the way around. And you'll see that the foam underpiece is kind of showing up now. And then it'll snap off the bottom here. So all these parts that we're dealing with here, the schematics, the parts books with pictures of kind of the blow up of the machine and points to all the specific parts, they are available on our website. So we've got this off now, and you can see got this little plastic ridge, and that fits inside this ridge right here. So you can find all the listings to see all the part numbers and everything on our website. We'll add that link in the description below for the video so you can find it easily. So we've got 2 more screws right here on the back we're going to pop out real quick. And these are all T20. All of these are the same screws. You'll notice, I'm actually doing a cord reel. I'm going to show you how to do a motor as well, because once we're in there, we're in there. But I've already cut the cord off. The old cord reel failed. And this unit is a warranty unit. Very unusual for these cords actually to fail that rapidly. They've got really good cord reels, but you know, anything can happen. So this whole lid now will pop right off, and I'm going to set that aside. Now we have ready access here to our cord reel. So to take the cord reel out, there's 1 screw right here. So we've got a screw right there is where the cord reel screw is. We'll take that out. Okay, and the cord reel now will actually just pop out. There's a plug right here that's plugged into this PCB up here. So even loosened, it's going to be tight. We're going to have to pull it out. Over here, this little metal dually bobber comes through this plastic support right here. So we're going to pull that back so that the cord reel can come up. And now I'm not hooked in that anymore, but my tension is going to be up here where we're plugging into that PCB, and that's where I kind of gotta pull up and wiggle it a little bit to get this plug to kind of come undone for me. There it goes. All right, so I don't know if you noticed as I was pulling that out, a little washer just flew off. This is super important. So this washer goes on this peg right here is where it goes. And when you put this back in, you want to have the washer on the inside there. So I'm gonna pop it off so I don't lose it, because from what I can see, the washer doesn't come with a new cord reel. So we've got the cord reel out. If you're just doing a cord reel, pop it back in. Go ahead and put everything together. I'm going to show you how to access the motor real quick. It's actually super easy, but there's a couple screws that are a little tough to see. So in the PCB, there's a hole right here. And if you put your bit through that hole, you'll come in contact with a screw that's down there. And you have to bend your screwdriver just a little bit. We're going to pop that out. Grab that screw, set it aside. And there is another hole over here. There's actually two holes, but the one back here, and if you look down, you'll be able to see where you're contacting the screw. And the screw, sometimes it falls out, sometimes it kind of sits in there. We got two more screws, so a total of 4 screws to get the motor out. 1, 2 more, and these ones are readily visible. So we got those 2 screws out. Now the air belt up here is held in with little plastic clips. I'm going to just grab a flathead, and these clips will just kind of come undone. You kind of pull this top section up as you unclip it. Right, there's another clip there. Same on the other side. These clips are going to pop up and pop up. One more clip. Okay, so there's one hidden clip over here, and this one's a little tough to get to. It's right there. It's the one final clip. I'm going to use a hook to get to it. You could use a flathead, but a hook's a little bit easier. And now this whole thing's going to whoop, pop right up. So now we have the motor bucket fully exposed. And this motor will just pop out. You've got your wires right there. You can put wires on there if you're doing a motor replacement. There is a motor mount down here that's a rubber motor mount. That's going to sit inside this motor. The motor's going to sit in it and keep it from spinning. Is how that's going to work when you put the motor back in again. There's only one way it can go, because you have spots right here for the motor's the brushes to go into. So there's only one way you can put this in. See the back of my bald head there. And then you have 2 wire runs right here for the motor wires. So when you put this back together, you just put your wires back on those wire runs, and everything's going to snap together real neatly. That's set in there straight. Yep, that's good. And then our lid's going to go right back on. Make sure we get our motor wiggled in there right. Get my wires set in my wire runs. I'm having a little bit of a tough time getting my motor seated, which is often the case. Oh, there we go. Went right on. So I'll put snap these clips back on up front. Check my wire run again. My wire runs are good. My clips are all in the right spots. Oh, my one clip over here didn't go on quite right. It was on the inside instead of the outside, so that was holding me up. But yeah, no, I'm good and seated right there. I'll put these clips back on, make sure everything snaps on right there. It's all good, no leaks, nothing there. Okay, cool. So we're going to put our 4 motor screws back in. The 2 that are readily visible. And then there's going to be these 2 down here that are not as easy to see. You may need tweezers depending on, I've got relatively thin fingers, so I don't need tweezers, but tweezers may help to get those in there. Having small fingers was not helpful when I played bass. When I grew up and got a real job. And as a tech, having smaller fingers is actually kind of helpful. Having a hard time getting that screw lined up. This one's the tricky one. Boy, it's really something working inside these inside these Sebos after working on like Mila's. These things are just, everything just fits perfectly. It's so smart. It's so thoughtful. It's just really, it's clear that a lot of thought is put into every single aspect of the design. And there must be a lot of testing that goes into these machines as well. They're just smart. They're just smart machines. So we're going to go ahead and put this back in. Right now it's loaded, so if I let go of it, this cord right here, when you get the new cord reel, is held right there and it keeps this thing from spinning. So I'm going to hold on to it because it's loaded and I don't want it to spin. As I insert it, it will basically stop it from spinning after I get it in here, but I got to get it in here first. All right, so got a washer right here. Don't forget to put that on there. All right, I'll drop this down. And again, we've got these plugs up here that we're going to kind of have to push that in right there. And then this right here will snap in right here to hold it in. So the cord reel's on. And at this point, I'm just going to do the reverse of what I just did, put everything back together again. I know most of you are going to bounce at this point. All right, so we got one screw holding in the cord reel. Right there. That's in. So when we first took this apart, I had this gray back piece was still attached to the housing. I have a confession to make. I'd already taken this machine apart once to verify the cord reel was bad. And there's actually a cord. We're going to put the black lid on. So you need to remove this, pop this out of the housing. But there's a cord right here that goes into it goes up to your hose connection. But this cord plugs into your PCB right there. So I'm going to pull my main power cord out through this hole. I'll drop this down. As I'm dropping it down, I'm going to plug this cord in right here. And then we're going to settle this machine back into its base. We'll watch, you can see the blue ridge right here. After we get it settled, that blue ridge is going to be it's going to be even with the housing. Wiggle a little bit. I'm not quite on yet. I got something holding me up a little bit right here. I'll pop this off real quick and see what I got to hold me up. It should be good. Oh, okay, there we go. It dropped right in this time. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, so I'm going to put the two screws back in the motor bucket, or I'm sorry, in the bag bucket. Followed by the one screw that's kind of hidden right here behind the bag door. I'm going sideways with that, get it to bite a little bit, and then there we go. Okay, so you've got your cord hanging out the rear now, right? And it goes through this gray back piece, but this is a cord stop. You can't get your plug to go through there. This cord stop needs to be pulled off. So I'm going to use a hook for this. Pop the cord stop off right there, and then once I get, you can use a flathead too, but I prefer to use the hook because it's less likely to damage. So this slides right off. It allows you to put your cord through, and then this is going to go right back on here. Super smart, super easy. I love working on these machines. They're a little bit odd, so they can be, you know, if you're a tech, these can be a little bit intimidating because they're just not, they're not like the other machines that you may be used to working on. They're a little bit different. There's some oddities, but once you figure out the nuance and the details of how these machines are put together, you hear how that just snapped right in. Good solid sound too. Once you're used to the nuance, they're super easy to work on. I mean, you see how fast we just did a cord reel. A lot of other machines, it would not have been that fast. And we probably would have broken something in the process for that matter. So then our cord reel, test that real quick. I'm going to turn it on real quick, test for power before I put we are good to go. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this filter back on again. So I put the foam in first, and it'll all just kind of slide in there. So that slides in there, and then we're going to reinstall this. So I usually do the bottom first on these. And then I come back and snap in the top. So put the bottom ridge in, and then I just kind of come around and slip that all up in there. And then I'll come back after I go all the way around the unit. I'll come back and I'll kind of snap the top piece in. I actually, this is the vacuum I own. This is D4. I'm really glad I got it. We had another machine that was, I mean, it worked, and I kept saying, you know, obviously I get a discount. I get, you know, I was like, yeah, just because I get a discount doesn't mean it's free, and our vacuum works. I went on like that for about 2 years before we finally got the D4 and replaced our previous machine, and man, I'm glad we did. These are really nice. All right, so now I'm working the top ridge in. Another nice thing about these machines is, as of this video, the high filtration bags are the same price as all the other machines' bags. They're the same price, but they're much larger. So you get much more filtration material for your money, which is nice. Ridge popped out over here. Pop it back in again. It's funny, this actually takes longer, I think, than the cord reel replacement did. All right, and then this clip goes right on there. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That's how to do both a cord reel and a motor replacement on a Sebo D4. Hope you enjoyed this enthralling video. It was a real treat to make the video. I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun. So I don't know, what am I supposed to say on social media? Like and subscribe or whatever if you want to see more videos of some random gray bearded dude fixing vacuum cleaners. Seriously though, thanks for watching.